So I've created some pretty interesting tactics over the past couple of years, and today might be the most interesting one. We have got a one centre-back tactic that you guys requested, and I'm going to be honest, I think I've cracked the code. Now, it is designed obviously for powerhouses, but we have got a free tactical variants today that offer something very, very different. If you do enjoy the tactics, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and once again, whack on that notification bell. It's completely free. Once again, I cannot stress this is designed for powerhouses. You are not going to play with one centre-back at Luton. Let's just get that very clear. But if you want to have some fun, this is an absolute joke. It is so fun to play with. And as you can see with Man City, we still were incredibly competitive with one centre-back. We're going to win the Community Shield, the FA Cup, runners-up in the Champions League, and the Premier League. We only lose 4 games, 32 wins, Erling Haaland with 71 goals, Phil Foden with 23, 3 players in the average rating, assist-wise 3 players in there as well. It's so attacking, and as you can see, performs very well even against some of the world's best. Against Arsenal, a 5-1 win. Now what I will say is, in terms of conceding goals, we were actually still somewhat decent. 3rd place there, and 3rd place when it comes to the clean sheets, but where you're obviously going to stand out, most dribbles, 878, most shots at over 1,000, most goals at nearly 100 more than second place with Fulham, by the way. Fair play. Fewer shots against at 223, and also possession-wise, we were incredibly good because we have got so many players pushed up that midfield, so that's what you can expect with a tactic like this. But looking at this, it's a very, very strong season, and I mean, the data hub's going to back it up even more. At 4.24 goals a game, just over a goal conceded, which might seem a bit funny with, you know, Man City, but we've got one centre-back, so I'm going to take that and absolutely run. Over 26 shots, a great pass completion, and a very good tackle win ratio. Them stats I'm going to take. Man City or not, playing with one centre-back is not an easy task, and we're making it look easy. But to the German League now, where we put on an invincible season with FC Bayern. Again, unfortunately, the Champions League, not really our cup of tea this year, but the Pokal, we are going to win 5-2 against Wolfsburg, and the Bundesliga, well, as I've said, 30 wins, 4 draws. We've got Harry Kane and Musiala first and second when it comes to the goals. We've got 3 players in that average rating and 2 players when it comes to the assist. And a cheeky Manuel Neuer in second place, 3 clean sheets behind Peter Galassi. Now, what I would love to show you right here is going to be our defensive display being absolutely remarkable. Our most dribbles, possession, over 700 shots, fewer shots against, and goals scored, quite a fair few more than RB Leipzig in second place. So overall, what I will say is a tactic like this, it is going to be performing better in different leagues. So if you would take this over to, for example, the Scottish League and play with Celtic, you would find a very similar story being told. You would be the best defensively because there's only really a couple of teams in there that can cause any threat to Celtic. And the same in the Bundesliga. Again, the only team that really causes any danger would be an RB Leipzig, a Leverkusen, a Dortmund. The rest should be quite easy. But even with Man City, we still got the job done in the league. So it's very interesting to see. You think FM's realistic until you see a tactic like this and you're like, oh, I can play one centre-back. And do you know what? It's why it's a video game. It's why it's so much fun. And we scored over 3.79 goals a game, 0.82 conceded, 23.12 shots per game, an immaculate pass completion. And as you can see, we're scoring way more than the average in the league, and we're going to sign off in absolute style. And the last test is going to be with Lega. Right, a bit of action obviously over in the Polish League. We're going to come out and actually win the Polish FA Cup 5-2 there, and also come out and put on quite a good display in the league, nearly going invincible with a lot of our players, pretty much all of our players, absolutely taken over in terms of the stats. Now, speaking of stats, 66% possession, showcasing again how important what league you play in can justify different stats all the time. No league is the same. Defensively, second place and 3rd place when it comes to the clean sheets, but everything else is going to go in our favour. I mean, 66% of the ball is absolutely outrageous. Most shots and most goals, nearly 100 more than second place, so I'm not really going to complain at all. And the data hub, again, we're looking at 4.79 goals per game, only 1.21 conceded, over 25 shots a match, a great pass completion, and a very good tackle win ratio. Yes, they're tested with strong teams, but it's a one-back tactic. We need to go and see some highlights because this must look so funny in the game. So a 5-1 win over Arsenal then, and we get going pretty much off to a horrific start. Inside of 7 minutes, but this is where the tactic surprises me because I went in and I did change to the attacking variant to actually try and get back in this game, and we do it inside of 26 minutes. So this tactic is not shy of a comeback, and as you can see, it actually shapes up quite defensively solid there, with one of the sort of the halfbacks dropping in and doing a very good job there, with Bernardo Silva finding Foden, who slots it into the right-hand corner. A great goal there, and you know what? It was goal after goal in this point. Nunes picks it up, and as you can see, it's actually got quite a good back line, to be honest. Even out of, like, when we're in possession, we form up quite solidly as Walker is going to drive. Now this looks a bit interesting, because you've got one player back here, you've got your half back here, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there'll be a player over this part here as well. We've got a lot of options available, and Silva's going to find Foden, who does slick it in to the bottom left-hand corner. And do you know what? It was goal after goal in this game. Foden down the left-hand side, cuts it back into Cancelo, into Nunes, and it is utter quality. What a goal. And the same story is going to be told when we play Dortmund. Again, a very strong team. They gifted us a goal inside of 4 minutes, to put it bluntly. A great goal there from Gnabry. We go again here with Lima from a little set-piece throw-in. Kimmich's beautiful pass and play. And that's the side of the tactic I didn't describe, is how good you can actually play. The elegant football you can utilise with so many attacking players, as Harry Kane gets a goal there. Absolutely incredible. Sane finds Musiala into Gnabry, through into Harry Kane. I believe it was a little bit of a deflection there, as Koeman is going to pick up the scraps. They are going to get a goal here with Garassi, I believe. He squares it into a demi. I do apologise. To which I believe to make that 4-1, and we go and finalise a 5-1 win with Jamal Musiala. I want to go over and actually make this tactic. If you are enjoying so far, by the way, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you enjoy rebuilds, come on over to my second channel where we post rebuilds quite often, and you can see your favourite team getting a JoshDaly rebuild. But to make this tactic, we're going to load in anything really, because it's going to change so much, but it is actually built off that clean slate. I'm going to get an original sort of shape of the tactic so you can understand what we're going to be playing with. So for now, just load in any formation. So this is going to be a rough idea of what the tactic is going to look like, but it does change quite a fair bit. So we're going to get right through it. I do want to quickly say, if you want to get access to all 3 of these tactics today in one simple download, save you a ton of time, you can do so by joining the Patreon and also getting all of these wonderful perks, including the rebuild files. You get everything early, you get priority in your requests. We are not slowing down for the rest of the FM24 season, and also FM25 is going to be action-packed, so come on over and get involved. We've currently got a giveaway going on as well. Last month's was £500. This month I'm going to try and make even bigger, so come on over and get involved. But let's go over and talk through this tactic. So the goalkeeper is going to be a sweeper keeper, funny enough, simply on attack. Now this tactic is not shy to be aggressive, and we start off hot by doing that, by introducing such an attacker-minded goalkeeper. And the reason why we've got him on there is because with one centre-back, sometimes you are going to get caught in a sticky situation, and your goalkeeper is going to have to come out and actually, you know, sweep as a sweeper keeper should, and that's exactly why we have gone with him. Now, to the one centre-back, that sounds very strange, but to the one centre-back of this team is going to be a ball-playing defender, simply on defend. No instructions for that individual, because to be honest, we don't really want to overcomplicate things. When it comes to the wing-backs, unfortunately, both of them are simply going to be on defend. And the reason why we've got a lot of players that are defaulted in this team is because you can't overcomplicate this tactic, because you're playing a risky style already, so we've got to keep it humble. The wing-backs have to be on defend, because if they push up, we're not going to have no one defending the wide areas. We're going to have nobody defending, and it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. It is not going to be a pretty thing to see. Now, when it comes actually to sort of defensive structure and trying to get a little bit more into this team, we are going to utilise one halfback on the right-hand side, of course, who will drop back and out, you know, in possession and out of possession sometimes, will sort of form a 2-back sort of formation. So it does technically come under a 2-back, but technically there is one ball-playing defender, so it is a 1-back from the rip. And to partner him, of course, it has got to be someone quite defensive. That is going to be an anchor who is simply going to be set to the default as well, because these players have got instructions on them from the default, so the anchor is going to be holding the position, dribbling less, doing all that good stuff, basically being very risk-free. And the halfback, of course, is doing pretty much the same, with the wing-backs being incredibly defensively minded to protect this back line as we need to do. Now, when it comes to the 2 advanced midfield plays, a very interesting way, we are going to utilise a box-to-box, and probably the most attacking role of the midfield is going to be this player, as he is going to be looking to get further forwards and also look to tackle harder. Now, the reason why I would say this position's vital is because you want one of these 4 midfield players actually doing a bit of both, going up and going down. The central midfield player is going to be going up as well, but the box-to-box obviously does both. He's going to get up and get back and dedicate his whole game to charging from box-to-box, so you need to have that in your team. And to partner him, we are going to go with that central midfield player, but actually set to support with some instructions consistent of get further forwards. We're going to have him set to moving into the channels and also tackling harder. And what's this going to do? This is going to give you 2 players that are going to get further forwards. The box-to-box maybe a little bit more cautiously because, of course, he is going to come back as well. But this central midfield player is going to be your real creative talisman, so make sure you have got those instructions on. Now, when it comes to the wide players, I wanted some width in this tactic because, of course, the wing-backs provide width at the back, but they are not going to be pushing up. So we have actually gone with 2 wingers who are both going to be set to attack. But, of course, we also want them cutting inside, trying to get some shots off at the goal. So we are going to have them both on cut inside, on the left and also on the right-hand side. So the left is like this, and on the right, exactly the same. And to finish it off, we are going to go with a default advanced forward who simply is going to move into channels, run in behind, and hopefully we can find him, as we did, to score over 4.5 goals of Man City in that season. A very, very strong season indeed. But of course, now let's go over to the team instructions. So for the team instructions, it is going to be on the attacking mentality. To clarify, we are going to go to fairly narrow. We're going to look to shoot on sight, play out from the back. Again, we have got one ball playing defender who can find the 4 block, then the midfield, then the front 3. So makes sense to do so. We're going to run at defence. Again, we are not afraid to be very, very attacking. The passing is going to be quite reserved at much shorter, and the tempo is going to be maxed out to higher. We are playing some electric football. In transition, we're going to counter press and counter and roll the ball out nice and calmly to, it says centre backs, but centre back in our scenario. And lastly, out of possession, we're going to deploy the standard line with the high pressing line of engagement. We're going to max out the trigger press and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. Now, I have gone over and made this tactic for you, but I've also gone over and made a more attacking tactic, believe it or not, and that is going to be this one. So this is perfect to switch to in a game if you somehow can't score with the tactic that we've just been playing with. And if you can't do that, I don't know what's going on, because we scored tons of goals. But the core difference here is not the goalkeeper, it's not the ball playing defender, it's not the halfback, it's not the anchor, it is going to be the wing backs. They are both now going to be on support, on cross more often, run wide and also stay wider. The box to box and the central midfield player remain the same, as do both for the wingers and the advanced forward. So the real change here is the addition of the, I'd say, somewhat attacking wing backs, really getting forward and helping getting the ball into that box. Of course, there's a lot of changes to the team instructions as well, so let's go over and cover them. So again, the clean slate, and we are still set to attacking. Very attacking with this tactic would not be sensible. We're going to keep the attack and width. We're still going to be shooting on sight with the low crosses, but this is where things are going to change. In fact, we'll do the stuff that remains the same, so that remains the same. This is where it gets spicy. We're going to be more expressive. We're going to run at defense. We're going to overlap left and overlap right while playing out from the back. Now, this tactic is the most attacking tactic you'll ever see in Football Manager, so only use this when you need a goal. You will get a goal, but as soon as you've got your goal, switch to the default or the defensive one. I'm going to show you very, very shortly, but this tactic will absolutely guarantee you a goal. It's a shooting machine. In transition, we're going to counter press and counter, and this time we're going very different because we are actually going to go distribute quickly and take long goal kicks. Now, sometimes I will say your goalkeeper still does play to that centre back, so it's still important to actually have play out from the back on. But just for when he does get the ball moving quickly, the long goal kicks pump it up the field because we're attacking. We're trying to score a goal, get the ball up the pitch. And lastly, out of possession, we are going with the higher defensive line, with the high pressing line of engagement. I'm going to be real, I don't lie to you guys here. I did try the much higher line and we got absolutely blistered. So do never have the much higher line on. We're going to get stuck in, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and lastly, max out that wonderful trigger press. But now, to the defensive tactic, a tactic designed to seal out the game, still by playing one centre-back. The goalkeeper and the ball-playing defender remain the same, the anchor and the half-back remain the same role, but both now have pass it shorter on. The wing-back on the left and on the right do remain exactly the same default defending wing-backs. The midfield, we double up on central midfield players, both on the same instructions, both on support, pass it short, dribble less, shoot less, hold position, and also tackle harder. Very reserved options in that midfield. The winger on the right and on the left are simply default supportive wingers, and the complete forward is simply going to be on the default as a support. So a lot more possession focus in this team, as you've probably seen, and the team instructions, they're going to back it up. But for the team instructions, we are going to drop down to positive now, still on that clean slate. We are going to go fairly narrow, but the tactic is going to look quite basic here, to be honest, because we're going to still have the low crosses, we're still going to play out from the back, but the only change here is going all the way down to much shorter when it comes to the passing. So it's very reserved, very possession focused, and we've seen from the stats you can play that way. You can have tons of the ball playing in this system. In transition, we're going to slow the pace down while rolling the ball out to the centre backs, and we are simply going to counter press. We're not even going to have much emphasis when possession has been won. We're going to leave it nice and blank. And lastly, out of possession, that high pressure line of engagement, the standard line, and we're going to opt for more often when it comes to that trigger press. And that's going to give you, boys and girls, not one, not two, but 3 variants of my incredible one-back tactic, which is by far the hardest challenge you have ever set me. We're at the end of the game now, so if you want to see any more challenges, any weird shapes, I did see a 7-back the other day, which I might try. Do let me know in the comments, and if you do, you like the content, you can leave a like on the video and subscribe. It is completely free. It means the absolute world to me. Let's get excited for FM25. Let's get into it. I'll see you in the next one.